Joining me right now is the Gatestone Institute Senior Fellow. He is the author of The Coming Collapse of China and the Great U.S.-China Tech War, author Gordon Chang. Gordon, great to see you. Thanks very much for being here.
Well, thank you so much, Maria.
So what do you think about these lockdowns in Shanghai? I mean, they're putting gates up on people's homes. How do you read it?
Yeah, this is illogical. The only way you can explain it is that it benefits only one person, which is Xi Jinping, the Chinese ruler, because he wants his precedent-breaking third term. He's considered the author of the zero COVID policy, so he cannot allow any criticism of it, no adjustment of it, even though the policy no longer makes sense. So 1.41 billion people, they don't matter. One person, he gets to do what he wants.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the Communist Party, it's a lot smaller than the overall population of China, right? How many communists do you think that there are?
They have 91 million people.
Yeah.
Most of those are just sort of, they join it like a social club. They join it to get ahead in business.
I see.
But when you're talking about the real party, you're talking about the Central Committee, that's about 325 people or so.
That's right. That's what I thought. And so you've got 325 people and 1.3 billion population.
It's even worse than that because it's really the Politburo Standing Committee. That's 7.
Yeah.
And on that, there's one guy, Xi Jinping.
We've been talking about China for a long time, and I am, not, blurry-eyed in terms of the threat. This is a serious threat. In fact, Xi Jinping reportedly told officials to ensure that China's economic growth outpaces the United States' growth this year. Despite the lockdown, the Wall Street Journal is reporting that Xi said that it's important to show China's one-party system is superior to Western democracy. Obviously, the main goal is to overtake the United States as the #1 superpower.
Yeah, and those numbers that are coming out of the National Bureau of Statistics in Beijing, they don't make sense. So, for instance, we know that in March, China was in contraction. We saw that from the purchasing managers' indices for both services and manufacturing. They both were in the red, and they plunged. Both of them plunged. And how can you end up with 4.8% growth for the quarter? Remember, the first quarter of 2021, there was 18.1% growth. It's a very high base, and still they come up with numbers that don't make sense.
18% growth, Dagan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Come on.
Kyle Bass on Twitter, and it was a very long thread that he wrote about what's going on with China. But in terms of the lockdowns, there's a method or there's an outcome that she wants. And Kyle was explaining that it was to drive down, that he wants the world to think that growth is slowing and to drive down global commodity prices because China so desperately needs cheap oil and natural gas and the rare earth metals and the lithium to keep the economy going. And so I don't know if you, and then inflation, of course, was behind, food inflation was behind the Tiananmen Square.
Right.
Not riot, but the protest. And so that it might, whatever you see coming out of China, that might not be what's really happening.
Definitely not, in my view.
Yeah, and clearly Chinese officials have been saying all sorts of things to drive down commodity prices. We saw that from the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Affairs when he was talking about the harvest. This was all really designed, I think, so that China could buy wheat and corn at reduced prices. But, the real thing when you look at the Chinese economy right now, the one thing they can't fake is the money coming out of the country. Last month, $17.5 billion of portfolio investments left China. This was a record. This didn't happen in any other emerging market. It was just China. That shows you how bad things are there.
Yeah, and when you've got that kind of money leaving, I mean, it's hard to fake it. But we'll see. I mean, they've done a good job of faking it up to here. Isn't that right, Joe?
That's right. And Gordon, I'm curious as far as, is China watching what's happening in Ukraine, and they see that Vladimir Putin is having an infinitely more difficult time taking that country, right? Do they see that and say maybe this Taiwan idea is a bad one?
Well, that factor does inhibit them, but they've also got encouraging messages. So, for instance, there was a complete failure of deterrence. The United States was not able to stop Russia. Remember, you talk about the United States, the 27 nations of the EU, and Great Britain. Those countries were telling Russia not to invade. Those countries last year had 25.1 times larger economy than Russia's, and Russia still did it. China looks at that and says, look, Western diplomacy is completely failing. So these are other messages that are encouraging the Chinese to be more aggressive.
Sure.
Yeah,
So you think they move on him ultimately?
Ultimately, they do, because there's a lot of logic there. They won't do it this year because of the National Congress that was scheduled at the end of this year, if tradition holds. But yeah, this is getting really, really dangerous.
But it's a shoo-in. He's getting reelected, or not elected, but renamed for another term, right?
He probably will, but I don't think it's a near certainty, because he's being blamed for all these things. Remember, there's a lot that can happen between now and the fall, and things aren't going China's way. He's grabbed all his power. He has nobody else to blame. Yes, he probably gets his third term, but it's still, I think, a little bit touch and go.
Well, bring it back to the U.S. What about all these supply issues and the impact on the United States? I mean, this is obviously having a real impact on our ability, because we're so reliant on production of key materials and products there.
And we're going to feel it because, you know, China can't ship what it doesn't produce.
Right.
A lot of these factories are not operating, or they're operating at very low capacity. And that's not just Shanghai. That's also in Guangdong province, where you also got a lot of disease right now. And, you know, you see these shipping delays. The Shanghai port is completely blocked up. I mean, they're shipping, but it's not like before. And they have to move these goods around to other ports in China to get them out of the country. This is a real nightmare for the Chinese.
And we still can't have a real investigation, right? How did COVID start, right?
Yeah, we have a president
Can't get investigators in there
who doesn't ask the Chinese how this started. And it's killed, what, 992,000 Americans? And we still can't get a president to sort of say, oh, Xi Jinping, how did this start?
Oh, then he turned around and lied that he did press Xi on it.
Yeah.
And the press team had no knowledge of that. Oh, we discussed that. No, you didn't.
Right. And then when he said, well, what did he say? He goes, oh, he's not going to be transparent. Oh, okay, thanks. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye. Gordon, thank you. Great commentary from you, as always. Gordon Chang.